Moin und willkommen zu meinem Playthrough von Everlasting Summer. Wie man hier in der Schrift schon sieht, es ist eigentlich ein russisches Spiel, ist aber trotzdem als Anime-mäßig aufgezogen. Es ist eine Graphic Novel, das heißt, es gibt nicht sehr viele Auswahlmöglichkeiten, obwohl es sehr viele Endings gibt. Ich glaube mindestens 11 verschiedene. Ja. Okay, die ganze Auswahl sieht schon mal relativ eingeschränkt aus. Neues Spiel, Save Game, Galerie, Settings, okay, ja, passt schon. Okay. Hallo Eule. Okay, fangen wir einfach mal ein neues Spiel an. Die Musik ist ja schon zauberhaft. Es ist auf Englisch, aber ich werde auf Deutsch kommentieren. Freut euch schon mal auf schlechtes Voice Acting. I was having the dream once again. That dream. Same thing every night. But it's all forgotten in the morning, as usual. Maybe it's for the best. Only a glimpse of memory will remain, of gaze half opened, as if inviting me somewhere, with frozen stone pioneers standing close. And also that strange girl who keeps asking me. Okay. Will you come with me? Come? But where? And why? And where am I anyway? Of course, if it all would have happened in real life, I would have certainly be scared. This much is sure. Oh, Zungenbrecher. Da ist die Uhr. But this is just a dream. The same one I see every night. There must be a reason. You don't have to know where or why to realize something is really happening. Something desperate for my attention. Since everything that surrounds me here is real. As real as things in my own flat. I could open the gates, hear the hinges creak, brush the crumbling rushed away with my hand, inhale the fresh cool air and shiver from the cold. I could, but to do that, I would need to pick myself up, make a step, move my hand. But this is a dream. I understand that, but what of it? What would change my understanding? Because here is just like on the other side of the cracking screen of an old TV, which struggles to fight against static noise and strive to show its audience everything without missing a single detail. Ach, was für ein tapferer Fernseher. But the picture is getting blurry. I must be waking up soon. Maybe I should ask her something. The girl. What's her name? About the stars, for instance. Why the stars, though? I rather ask about the gates. Okay, man merkt, es wurde von den Russen übersetzt. Es ist nicht 100%ig korrekt. Yes, the gates. She would be so surprised. Or better, why dot over I was called a tittle, but dot over I was called a superscript dot. Was? Okay, das habe ich nicht verstanden. I was called a tittle, but the dot over J was called a superscript. Ach, auch die Punkte. Okay, Entschuldigung. Nice letters. As if they don't exist anymore. Still, what do letters, gates and stars have to do with this place? Allerdings. Because if every night I'm having this dream, which will be forgotten soon anyway, I've got to look for answers here and now. And there, if you look carefully, you can see the Magellanic clouds. As if I ended up in the southern hemisphere. Kennt sich ja mit Sternen aus, wa? In a dream, there are the small things that catch the most of your attention, unnatural colors of grass, impossible curves of straight lines, or your own distorted reflection. With the real danger, which could put an end to everything right here and now, seems a trifle. is natural, since here you cannot die. I know it for sure, I've done it hundreds of times. But if you cannot die, is there a point in living? I should ask the girl. She's a local, she would know. Yes, exactly. I should ask her about the old, for example. Genau, was ist das mit der Hunde? One strange bird it is. Though it doesn't matter. Will you come with me? And every time I have to answer. It's the only way, otherwise the dream will never end and I will never wake up. Oh, ich kann was aussuchen. Ich nehme mal nein. Ach Gott, lass mal. Hier, deine Eule kannst behalten. Every time it's so hard to decide on the answer. Where I am, what I'm doing here, who is she? And why does so much in my life depend on this answer? Or maybe it doesn't? It's just a dream after all. Just a dream. Okay, jetzt wacht er wohl auf. Im Sitzen geschlafen? Okay, was ist das? So eine Art soziales Netzwerk oder so? Oder Dating-Website? The computer screen stared at me as if it was alive. Okay. Sometimes it really did seem to make me... Nochmal. Sometimes it really did seem to me that if I was conscious of itself, had its own thoughts and wishes, ambitions, that it had feelings, could love and suffer. Oh, okay. Reiß dir zusammen. Okay, der Bildschirm lebt nicht. Nein. Okay, und wenn, dann wäre es unheimlich. Aber cool. As if in our relationship, the scream wasn't an instrument, it was me. Lifeless piece of plastic and textulite. Positives Selbstbild? There's some truth in that. Probably because the computer provides 90% of my communication with the outside world. Anonymous image boards, some chats from time to time, rarely ICQ or Jabber, and forums even more rarely. Okay, benutzen wir wirklich noch ICQ? Naja. People on the other end of the internet cable simply do not exist. They are all simply creations of its sick imagination, an error in the source code or a kernel bug, which started living a life on its own. Ich glaube, dieser Mann hat viel zu viel Zeit, um sich über Quatsch Gedanken zu machen. Ist das die Decke? Ja, okay. Ja. If one looked at my existence from the side, such thoughts would not seem so mad, and a psychologist would surely give me a bunch of sophisticated diagnoses and maybe write me a doctor's referral to an asylum. Ja, vielleicht. Die Beziehung zu ihrem Bildschirm ist sehr ungesund, mein Herr. Die Tapete ist auch der Burner, oder? A small apartment with no trace of repair or semblance of order in it, and always the same view out of the window on the grey megalopolis running somewhere day and night. Such are the conditions of my life. MIDI-Musik? Well, of course, it didn't all start like this. I was born, went to school and finished it, like other others. I was accepted at the university, where I spent a year and a half trailing and struggling. Studieren ist nicht für jeden was, Junge. I drifted through several jobs. Sometimes it was working out quite well. Sometimes I was even getting decent money for it. But it all felt like it was not mine, as if taken from another man's biography. I wasn't living a life to its fullest. I was looping on and on in monotonous circles. As in the Groundhog Day movie. Guter Film. It's just I had no choice in how to spend my day, and every day repeated itself, the same vicious spiral. Spiral of emptiness, misery and despair. For the last few years, I just sat in front of the screen all day. Sometimes there were menial jobs, sometimes my parents helped me. All in all, I was able to provide for myself. Beziehungsweise deine Eltern. No wonder really, since my needs are quite minor. I hardly leave my home, and my communication with other people almost entirely consists of online correspondence with the anonymous, who have no real name, no gender, no age. So in brief, quite a typical life of a quite a typical antisocial person of this time. Möglich? Keine Ahnung. Antisocial passt, glaube ich, ganz gut. Kind of Donnie Darko on a minor scale, without doomsday-related visions. Oh man. Maybe some highly respected director will make a movie about me, and it will become a classic of modern drama cinema. Or I will make one myself. Ja klar, du kannst dich bestimmt dazu aufmachen. However, what's the point of fooling myself? I tried many times, but couldn't even come up with a simple script. Welche Überraschung. I have also tried learning many other things. Not gifted enough to draw. Programming got bored. Foreign languages takes too much time. Oh, ist der faule Mann. The only thing I loved doing was reading, but still I would never have called myself a scholar. Perhaps I was an ace in watching anime and grandmaster of lame internet jokes. If I were to get paid for it, I probably would be a happier person, and a richer person too, but I doubt it would fill the hole inside me. Today was another typical day of a typical loser's typical life. Das ist jetzt auch ein bisschen traurig. And today is the day when I have to go to my university reunion. Das kann ja großartig werden. Frankly speaking, I really did not want to. And what is the point? Time I spent with them was so short. However, I got persuaded by a friend, my former university mate and one of the few who I kept in touch not only through the internet. Hübsch, oder? Sieht ganz gut aus. Okay, jetzt gehen wir wirklich raus, ja? Ja, tatsächlich. Das sieht schöner aus, finde ich. Oh, auch schön hier der Zusammenschnitt. Okay, das sieht ein bisschen verwahrlos aus. Busseite stellen sehen irgendwie überall gleich aus, oder? A frosty evening. Bus stop, waiting. I never liked winter. Though hot summer is not my season either. Oh, der Typ ist anstrengend. It's just that I see no reason to point out any particular time of the year. It does not matter much what weather it is outside, since you spend 24/7 at home. The bus today was running so late that I was about to curse it all and spend the last few hundred rubles for a taxi. The idea of returning home didn't cross my mind for some reason. As usual, millions of thoughts flew through my mind, but there was not a single useful one to seize. Such thought that you could bring to existence, give it a shape, turn it into an idea and put it into practice. Maybe I could start my own business? But where would I get the money from? Or maybe I could go back to working in an office. No, no way. Maybe I should try freelancing. What skills do I have? Who needs me after all? I suddenly remembered my childhood, or rather teen years, the time when I was 15 to 17 years old. Where exactly those years? No idea. I guess it's because back then everything was much more simple. It was easier to make decisions, so complicated now and so simple then. Waking up in the morning, I knew exactly how my day was going to pass, and I was always eagerly looking forward to the weekend. Then I could get some rest and have time for the things I liked: computer, football, going out with friends. And then at the beginning of next week, I'd take up my studies again. Back then, there were no such worrying questions as why, who needs it, what will change if I do it, or what will not change. A simple live stream, so casual for any normal person and so odd to myself today. Careless childhood age. It was also then that I met my first love. Oh. Her appearance and character have vanished from my memory. Okay, das kann dann ja kein prägender Eindruck gewesen sein. Only her name remains, like a brief line from a social network profile, along with the feelings which overwhelmed me when I was with her. Affection, tenderness, desire to care for her and to protect her. Sadly, it didn't last long. Today I can hardly imagine something like that happening. I would probably like to meet a girl, but I don't know how to start a conversation, what on earth to discuss and how to attract her. Well, I haven't met a suitable girl for a long time, but where could I meet one? The sound of an engine working brought me back to reality. A bus pulled over. There's something abnormal about it, I thought. Then again, it doesn't matter. Only the 410 runs this route. Street lights passing me. It is as if their cold light sparks inside of me, trying to light up feelings long dead. Or maybe not sparks, just awakens them. Because those feelings, they have been living in me for a long time, cooling down and waking up again. The driver's radio was playing some very familiar tune, but I wasn't listening to it. I was watching the cars passing by through the fogged up window. Because people are always rushing somewhere, chasing something they need, stuck in their own little worlds. Why would they care about mine? They probably have their own serious problems, or maybe they have much easier lives. You can't know for sure, since all people are different. Or aren't they? Sometimes someone's actions can easily be predicted, but if you try to look inside his soul, you will only see impenetrable darkness. The bus was approaching downtown, and my thoughts were interrupted by the bright city lights. Hundreds of ad boards, thousands of cars, millions of people. I was watching the slideshow, and somehow I got terribly sleepy. My eyes closed just for a moment, and then... Okay, Intro oder so? ja, bei den Namen lassen wir uns dann überraschen, außer ihr könnt Kyrillisch lesen. Oh, okay, Panties. Wir stellen fest. Habt ihr das gesehen? Okay. Alle anderen im Bus sind sexy Mädchen. Wobei eine noch sehr jung aussieht. Was? Warum Katzenohren? Okay. Everlasting Summer. Okay. Das wird ja interessant. Day One. Ich muss gerade wieder an das War of Mine denken. Okay, das ist nicht derselbe Bus, oder? Bright daylight struck my eyes. At first I didn't pay attention, as I wasn't fully awake yet. On their own, my legs carried me towards the door. Okay, Semien sind, glaube ich, hier. Damn, looks like I fell asleep and missed my stop. But there were no doors. I've looked around the bus and realized that it wasn't a good old worn-out Marco Polo. Instead, the bus was the Icarus model and new. Okay, er kann Bustypen unterscheiden. I was frozen in shock. How? What? Am I dead? Warum kommt ihm das zuerst? Hä? Du sitzt in einem anderen Bus und... Okay. Er glaubt ja, aus seinem Computerbildschirm könnt ihr vielleicht leben. Machen wir mal weiter. Have I been kidnapped? Das klingt schon wahrscheinlicher. No, I must be dead. Was? Okay. I touched my body wildly, slapped myself on the face a few times, struck the back of the front chair with my forehead. Übertreib's bitte nicht. It's clear. Either I'm still alive or, being dead, you can still feel the pain. But how could all this happen? Maybe I was asleep for too long and ended up in this bus depot. And then what? Did they put me into another bus? Unwahrscheinlich. I rushed out and took a look around. Greenery wherever I looked. Tall grass on the roadside, trees, flowers. Summer. But how? It was winter just a moment ago. I had a terrible headache. As if my head was going to explode. Step by step, I started to recall. A long road running towards the horizon. Forest, plains, fields, lakes and forests again. I think I was sleeping, but how then can I remember all of it? And then, a gap. Some girl leaning over me. She's softly whispering something to my ear. Then a gap again. And then I woke up here. Who is that strange girl? Or was she just a dream? For some reason thinking about her made me feel better and calmed me down a little. I felt warmth all over, coming from the inside. Could it be her who brought me here? Then I need to find her. And the best way to look for her is to get away from here. I rushed to the left, then to the right, then stopped hesitating where to go and finally ran in the direction where the bus probably came from. Sieht doch wirklich ziemlich gut aus auch. Richtig selbst gemalt irgendwie. Physical exercise does refresh one's mind. Thoughts become clearer and it gets a little easier to evaluate the surrounding reality. Not in my case, however. I was sitting on the roadside, wheezing and trying to ease my sore throat by gulping hot air. Ja, du sitzt ja auch immer nur drin. In any case, the run did its work. The fear withdrew for a little. Maybe I'm really just dreaming. Voll die Panikattacke. Though after recalling my self-harm, I immediately rejected the idea. I am neither dreaming nor dead. A narrow road was running through the field and far into the distance. That exact road from my dream. I must be very far away from home. And it's not that it was winter yesterday and it's completely summer now. It is about the environment. Of course, the summer is usually like that, green and hot, but here everything is not just like in real life. Everything looks like it was taken from the paintings of Russian landscape artists of the 19th century. Römische Zahlen sind schon ein bisschen her. The grass is just too lush. The bushes are not like what bushes should be. They are so thick that you can't see anything through them, like treetops, honestly. And the trees themselves? The forest was quite far away, but the trees looked as if they had closed their even ranks and were just now waiting for an order to advance into the fields and plains. Seine Fantasie geht wieder mit ihm durch. I caught my breath and looked at the bus, which was now barely visible. That was a good run. Fear took over me once again. And those power lines. There must be people here. But what does it mean? In fact, that means nothing at all. Even hell can have power lines? Oh man. Baking and roasting the sinners is too old-fashioned. Ja, genau. I must have reached the point of no return, after which you should either lose your mind completely or finally try to understand what is going on. Ja, bitte. And while I still have the choice, I should rather pick the second option. I slowly headed back to the bus. Of course it was frightening, but I'm not likely to find an answer in the fields or the woods, and this wretched bucket of screws is the only kind of link that I have with the real world. Aha. I should carefully scout the area. Leider fehlt die Eule. A brick wall in its gates, crowned with souvenir signs, statues of pioneers at the side, and a road sign nearby showing the bus route number 410. Ah, okay, das Camp heißt Eule. The trip's taking a bit too long today. I smirked. A person may start acting inadequately in extreme situations. Something like is probably happening to me now. Ich glaube, hier fehlt ein this. This place didn't look abandoned at all. No rust on the gates, no damage to the walls. Ach komm, das ist doch rostig. Aber nur ein bisschen. Gut. So, ich kann es nicht aussprechen. Souvenir. What could have a name like that? Judging by the pioneer statues, it could be a kids' summer camp. And this camp seems to be working. Of course, the simplest explanation logically explains nothing at all. The strange girl, the altered bus, summer, the pioneer camp. Thousands of theories went through my mind instantly, from alien abduction to lethargic sleep, from hallucination to time and space shift. None was worse than the other, but there was really no way to pick a single one. Ich glaube, dass das heutzutage halt nicht mehr gibt mit diesen Pionieren. Das ist so Sowjetunion-Style und dieses Spiel spielt im Prinzip in der heutigen Zeit. Deswegen glaube ich, er hat so eine Art Zeitreise oder so gemacht. Then it all came back to me. I can try to make a phone call. Ah, endlich eine nützliche Idee. I took out my cell phone and dialed the first number from my contact list. Wahrscheinlich sein Kumpel aus der Uni. But instead of signal-drenched bars, the screen was showing a thick cross. Alright, there may be no signal in such a backward country place. Möglich. Though I cannot be the only who got here. Buses don't go on their own. I checked the bus from all sides to make sure that it wasn't a hallucination. Bits of dirt on the bottom, some rust here and there, faded out paint and worn out tires. No, this is definitely a very ordinary Icarus. Yeah, exactly the kind of bus which takes you to places beyond your understanding if you carelessly fall asleep. I gave a nervous chuckle. It came out by itself sporadically, because it wasn't a right place or time to laugh. But where on earth is the driver? I cautiously sat down on the curbstone beside the bus and started waiting. Ich glaube, hier machen wir erstmal einen Cut. Wir werden das nächste Mal dann herausfinden, wo wir sind. Oder jedenfalls versuchen, es herauszufinden. Und wer sich wohl so in diesem Camp aufhalten könnte. Bis dann, Gruß von eurem Nerdmädchen und habt noch einen schönen Tag.